Hello and welcome. My name is James, and I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and addict. This is my channel, Sober James, and this is my daily, one day at a time addiction recovery live stream podcast. Tonight's topic: Bill Wilson asked for a drink of whiskey on his deathbed. Christmas of 1970, he asked for a glass of whiskey, dying of emphysema, and then in the weeks to follow, he asked 3 more times. He was never given this glass of whiskey. Tonight, we're going to discuss it. Well, while you guys trickle in, I will give a summary. Yes, Bill Wilson, the co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, asked for whiskey in the final days of his life, but he was never given it. Let's read his obituary. Bill W., 75, dies. Co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, January 24th, 1971, New York Times. William Griffith Wilson died late Sunday night, and with the announcement of his death was revealed to have been the Bill W. who co-founded Alcoholics Anonymous in 1935. He was 75. The retired Wall Street securities analyst had expected to die or go insane as a hopeless drunk 36 years ago, but after what he called a dramatic spiritual experience, sobered up and stayed sober. He leaves a program of recovery as a legacy to 47,000 acknowledged alcoholics in 15,000 AA groups throughout the United States and in 18 countries. It's a long obituary, so we're not going to read it. William G. Wilson, there's his tombstone, Vermont, World War I. And he asked for whiskey 4 times in his final month of life: December 25th of 1970, January 2nd, 8th, and 14th of 1971. He was dying of emphysema and had been a heavy smoker. It was possible that alcohol would have interacted poorly with his medications, or that the hospital had a policy against alcohol. He was able to stay sober for 36 years after being admitted into Towns Hospital in New York for alcoholism treatment in 1934. He spent his final years avoiding AA meetings, so he wouldn't be asked to speak as the co-founder. So, red flag number 1, my dude wasn't going to meetings. You've heard me say on this channel before that when I stop going to meetings, I get antsy. What's up, Raphael? On his deathbed? For real. Let me change the color of this chat box right quick. It's kind of skimbledy jimbers. You know what I mean? A skimbledy. Huh? Bill Wilson asked for a glass of whiskey on his deathbed. What do you guys think about this? Some people say, no, I wouldn't give it to him. Some people might say, yes, I would give it to him. Do I surprise you with my skimbly bimbers? Right off the rip, I'm thinking, here's my sentiments, and then I'll hear yours. The last sipper. The last sipper. The last sipper. That's good. Welcome back, both Raphael and Daithy. How do you pronounce your name, Daithy? You can call me live. I will answer. Just don't call me late for dinner. The phone number's on the screen. Hit that thumbs up button and let's discuss Bill W. asking for a glass of whiskey. Now, another thing about it, well, first, right off the rip, let me just say, The dude was sober for 36 years. He founded, this was 89 years ago, founded Alcoholics Anonymous, a society of alcoholics that want to stop drinking. It still to this day is where alcoholics go when they've got no other place to go. It's where I went. It's where I continue to go. I just got back from a meeting. I go as often as possible. It's my medicine. Alcoholism is a disease of the mind and the spirit. Alcoholics Anonymous, the 12 steps that Bill W. himself and Dr. Bob wrote. The 12 Steps of Alcoholics Anonymous is a program for living, recovery from the seemingly hopeless state. There is no after. What's up with, what do you mean by that? There is no afterlife? Well, here's the thing. Here's one point of view. You might say, you go 36 years, you might as well finish strong and, not drink on your deathbed. This would be an ego move, if you ask me. First of all, he's facing the great void. Raphael, Trippy, Dythe, and I, we don't know. Nobody knows. No living human being knows what's on the other side of death. And he was facing that. Number two, he had emphysema. He was dying of emphysema, lung cancer, I believe, but emphysema, which means it felt like he was breathing through a straw. This is how my mom died. And I've been told it feels like you're trying to breathe through a drinking straw. He also was in great pain, and he was suffering. He was a suffering alcoholic. He wasn't able to make meetings. He was wheelchair bound and I don't know if you know this about Bill W., but he didn't like the spotlight being on him for being the founder or co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous. I mean, people were not washing their hands after shaking hands with him and shit like that. And he would just tell you, I'm just a drunk trying to get along just like you. I'm just a drunk trying to get along. You know? Huxley. Who's Huxley? Bill W. took LSD for 5 years, to my understanding, after his recovery from alcoholism. As a matter of fact, in 1934, his great spiritual experience that he describes was induced by a psychedelic called belladonna. I think it's derived from the nightshade plant or something. I think it's really dangerous if not taken correctly. Anyway, he had a spiritual awakening that led to his sobriety from alcohol and led to the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, which you wouldn't be looking at me right now if it wasn't for Alcoholics Anonymous. I can say that with 100% confidence. You would not be viewing sober James. Yeah, we'll look that up. Let's look it up. Psychedelics are different than addictive drugs. Number one, they're not addictive, but they're different than alcohol for sure, in many ways. But one of the ways is you can't just take LSD and be like, oh, now I get to relax. I can finally, I'm guaranteed relaxation. You can drink. If you drink some booze, you're guaranteed to get some relief from your restlessness, irritability, discontentment. And we all know that. It's no secret. That's why we drank. Alcoholics can't drink because it also comes with dire consequences like jails, institutions, and death. Those are some brolic-ass side effects, if you ask me. Did Bill Wilson take acid? I did a video on this actually, but it says in the 1950s, Bill Wilson used LSD in medically supervised experiments with Betty Eisner, Gerald Hurd, and Aldous Huxley. Taking LSD for the first time on August 29th, there's your Huxley guy, 1956. He got sober in 1934. With Wilson's invitation, his wife Lois and Neil Wing also participated in such experiments. Did Bill Wilson take psychedelics? He was seeking still further ways of helping alcoholics, of helping specifically those alcoholics who could not seem to attain sobriety in Alcoholics Anonymous because apparently they could not get the spiritual. How many times did Bill Wilson try to get sober? 4 times. The last time in 1934, he was finally able to get sober. What did Bill Wilson say about relapse? Bill Wilson speaks about this in the following quote. About this slip business, I would not be too discouraged. I think you are suffering a great deal from a needless guilt. For some reason or other, the Lord has laid out tougher paths for some of us, and I guess you are treading one of them. Relapse. My sentiments are similar. Relapse can be a powerful tool to recovery. Not to do it on purpose, but when it happens, use it as a tool for learning. What's up, Mindsci? Trippy Seeds and Deeds. Glentia Victor. You slip on a banana peel. You know, Dr. Bob, the other co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, said, beneath every skirt, there's a slip. He was referring to relapse when it came to, women. Beneath every skirt, there's a slip. Now, Bill Wilson's dying of emphysema in 1970. He has founded since 1934 the Society and Organization of Alcoholics Anonymous, which to this day has been a haven for millions of alcoholics. Raphael says, a real alcoholic needs to care for other addicts to cure his own disease. Alcoholism doesn't have a cure, but the foundation, you're absolutely right, the main foundation of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, and step 12 of the 12 steps is carry the message to another alcoholic. It gives us purpose. It fortifies our self-esteem. Yeah, I'm a grammar nerd, bro, and an Alcoholics Anonymous nerd, and an alcoholism nerd. Bro, yeah, there is no cure. I've said it before. If they invent a pill that cures alcoholism, I'm going to crush 5 of them up and bang them like rails. Do you think Hunter S. Thompson and Jim Morrison were alcoholics? I don't know. I'm not sure. Hunter S. Thompson, probably. Maybe Jim Morrison. Hunter S. Thompson said, you can turn your back on a person, but don't ever turn your back on a drug. Or, he meant a person on drugs. Mind's Eye, I think if I was stuck in the hospital hospice bed, never mind the drink, doc, give me the good drugs you keep locked up. For real. This was 1970, so, I mean, who knows what they had? Probably morphine. But I was reading a Reddit thread from a hospice professional. Hospice, if you don't know, is basically people that are dying, and hospice is what. And he said, he explained pretty eloquently that people get weird when they die. They say weird shit and they go through weird shit. And, I can totally understand that. Not totally, because I haven't been there, but I've been close, and I've been in some pretty intense situations, and the mind kind of breaks. Hospice is like the final, to my understanding, hospice is when a patient is going to die, they go to hospice. What is hospice? Hospice is a specialized care program for people who are terminally ill. It focuses on comfort and quality of life rather than curing the illness. Hospice care also supports the patient's family. The Departure Lounge. Glentia Victor says, as an alcoholic, we are low on dehydrogenase, making the final metabolism of acetate into acetone, which gives us uncomfortable cravings for more once ingested, aka the phenomenon of craving. Simply described as an allergic reaction. When an alcoholic ingests alcohol, the phenomenon of craving occurs, and 1,000 is not enough. Eric says, what really gets me, I understand it was the 70s, stuff like that, but LSD, Bill W. took from medicinal purposes, and he did a heck of a lot better. But when he felt the fact that it was being used recreation, it escaped the lab. LSD was described as escaping the lab. Hey, Miss Ford. Hashtag Holly Ford. It escaped the lab and, hippies, man, and recreationally. But even especially today, psychedelics like LSD and psilocybin from magic mushrooms are being used to treat addiction. Bill Wilson was trying to treat alcoholism with LSD. My dude's an alcoholic too. I mean, we like to get effed up. So I have no doubt that he had some fun on it. We are not saints. I've done psilocybin mushrooms in my sobriety from alcohol and other dangerous drugs and come up with some revelations. I just publicized that 3-hour trip video when I eat like 11 grams. That video has 500,000 views. I just publicized it again because I'm back as Sober James. I'm not using mushrooms right now. I haven't in a while because I got back on SSRIs. I'm on Prozac, fluoxetine. It's an antidepressant, anti-anxiety. It's an SSRI, a select serotonin reuptake inhibitor. But mixed with psychedelics, the research is still being done, but I've felt it and it's not a really good feeling. It's kind of sad. The power of addiction, he still wanted to kick on his deathbed. But my dude's dying. It's Christmas 1970. He's in his 70s, dying of emphysema. He probably, being the Alcoholics Anonymous founder and writer of the big book, was probably a trip that he didn't, to my understanding, he didn't like it. Being that famous, he had to retreat. He had a house with his wife in the country, and that's probably where they did all their acid. For those of you who haven't done psychedelics like LSD, it's not all fun and games. There is some, they should have had him let a drink on his last day. You know what I mean? First of all, to say that you should let a grown man do something is just back asswards. Second of all, my dude's on the deathbed. My personal opinion is, if there's a room of 30 people and one of them is on their deathbed, that person now has the authority-having jurisdiction of the entire room. Whoever is facing the great void of death has the say, has the authority. Yeah, it can be a lot of fun and games, sure, but it's not always. My point in that being, alcoholics, we go for alcohol because, like, it'll be good when we hit that bottle. It'll feel good. It turns into all living hell on earth after quickly for the alcoholic. But my point is, there's some drugs you take that it's going to feel good. It's going to feel good. Dilaudid, most pain pills, Adderall. I don't really go for speedy stuff, but alcohol, Xanax, Klonopins. Am I triggering anybody listing all of these drugs? I know I'm triggered. But with psychedelics, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, Holly. Number one, we don't drink because it'll kill us. We don't drink because it'll ruin our lives and the lives of our loved ones. There is one reason to not drink, and that would be for your family's sake. But for God's sakes, man, I'm dying here. Are you people dying? You don't have a say, is what I would say. And I would get pissed too. Apparently he got belligerent. What's up, Noah? Apparently Bill W. asked for that whiskey, and when they wouldn't give it to him, he got belligerent. Damn right I'm belligerent. I can't even walk. And you guys are going to deny me that last drink? Been sober for 36 years. The only reason I haven't drank is because my life would be ruined. I'm on my deathbed now. So I thought and then, like, you know what? I think pride and ego, and even his family members probably were exhibiting some pride and ego when they denied him. They didn't want his legacy to be ruined, but he's already asked for it. You know what I mean? Trippy, I don't remember how many Xanax I would take. I would just keep taking them. 8 bars. You know what I mean? On top of 60 beers. And those are probably real numbers. Those are probably not exaggerations. I had a grand mal seizure from withdrawing from all of that. I fell on my face. Glentia says, after 46 years of alcohol, cocaine, and opiates, I'm not missing anything. I love sobriety. Took me a long time to get sober. I do not struggle with wanting to drink or use. Congratulations. The obsession is gone. That's really good. Hey, Colorado Brad. If you guys notice, there's some of the chatters have a different color and some icons and emojis and stuff. That's because they're members. If you'd like to check out the channel membership, I pinned the join link in the top of the chat box. You get cool emojis. You get access to videos that nobody else has access to. All right, buddy. All right. Bro, I don't even ask those questions anymore. Noah, that is the question of somebody that will a drug addict. So I don't entertain that question. The disease of addiction and alcoholism is a many-faceted enemy. It's got many faces. So you pretty much knock out as many as you can. Like, for instance, I don't even look at liquor stores. If I catch myself just looking, I'll look away. Commercials with booze, I look away. Talking about whether I would choose alcohol or benzos, I just avoid that conversation. Because it's a many-faceted disease. It will get you talking about it. It will get you thinking about it. You don't fuck with it. You don't fuck with alcoholism or addiction. It is a cunning, baffling, and powerful foe that will lie to you in your own voice. So it doesn't bother me, Noah. I'm just trying to share with you my experience with it. That's what's called romanticizing. Romanticizing about all the glorious times I had on benzos and booze. Romanticizing about how good they would feel. Fantasizing about, going out and taking some. Trippy says, I actually hate saying how much I would take because it feels like I'm boasting, but other addicts know I could easily down 60 and wouldn't feel it. Bro, I don't even talk about my drunken logs or whatever, but my family and friends will tell you I was an absolute monster. My sister actually would try to put Xanax in my drink to get me to go to sleep, to get me to go down. She just says she said I just wouldn't go down. I would not go down because I wanted to keep going. I would drink and I would take drugs and I would just keep going. And it would have to be pass out, arrested, or damn near dead. Like, that was it. I wasn't stopping. And I'm sure you guys can relate. I would have chose Klonopin over alcohol if I could get it at Rite Aid, but benzo done for me, corrected to the... Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Benzodiazepines and alcohol are in the same wheelhouse. They both affect the central nervous system. You can have a seizure and die from withdrawals. Also barbiturates. The three drugs that you can die from withdrawal from are alcohol, benzodiazepines, and barbiturates. Don't ask me what barbiturates are because I probably couldn't tell you. I could ask Google. I'm going to guess that Quaalude was a barbiturate. What are some examples of barbiturates? Barbitol. Phenobarbital. Oh, I've never even heard of these things. Treat insomnia, seizures, anxiety, and as a sedative. Something's wrong with my Mikey's ears. He's always shaking his ears, scratching his ears. My girl's always licking his ears. Really wish I could fix his ears. Vivid nightmares. I don't know why, if it's because I've stopped or what. Yes. When I've quit a lot of stuff in my day. When I stopped nicotine is weird. If you ever went to sleep with a nicotine patch on or a nicotine mint in your mouth, you will have vivid dreams. But yes, you're starting to dream again. And also your anxiety and stuff is probably making them intense nightmares. But I've noticed through stopping and starting various things, dreams, vivid dreams. It's a good thing. Phenobarbital. Oh, look at my girl licking. My girl's licking Mikey's ears. Do you think LSD or psilocybin could be used as alternative treatment for alcoholism under the right circumstances with therapy? Yes. Bill W. thought the same thing. Psychedelics have a spiritual component to them, and spirituality is used to treat alcoholism. I absolutely think that psychedelics have beneficial effects on addicts. There's been research done, there's been experiments with nicotine addicts. Smokers have quit. Had a dream last night. I was having a seizure and hallucinating in my dream. Dreams are also good tools for how you're doing in recovery. You will have drinking dreams. I've done a video or two on it on this channel. Look up Sober James Drinking Dreams. But we call these freebies. So it's like a relapse, but you can learn from it, but you didn't relapse. So it's like a freebie. And usually in my drinking dreams, I will be actively trying to hide. I'll be guilty. Over time I did LSD, I would discover the meaning of the universe probably 200 times. Right, LSD, psychedelics, DMT, psilocybin, ketamine, Molly. These are MDMA. These are, and there's clinics now. But yeah, the psychedelics have been used to treat addiction. And Bill W. was onto it way back when. Benzos are boring without alcohol. Sorry. I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't think I may have had benzos, but benzos are just, they're just so lovely. I don't want to trigger anybody, including myself, so I won't go into how lovely, but the benzos are a very effective drug when it comes to anxiety. Xanax, Klonopin, Ativan, you know. Yeah, I'm triggered. But so, you know, I mean, see, this is what I'm talking about. Romanticizing the stone, man. Fantasizing, romanticizing, glamorizing, you know, our drinking and drugging days. It's just something I don't do. Addiction is a beast. It's like a multi-headed beast. You don't mess with it. You don't tug on its tail. You don't mess with it. My favorite drug ever is acid, Trippy says. I wonder why that explains your name. I felt more euphoric on acid than on heroin, but I've only smoked. I never injected. Yeah, bro. Yeah, MDMA was my shit as well. back in the raving days of early 2000s. That shit was dope. But these days, I snort the 12 lines of Alcoholics. I snort the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous for my drug of choice. I feel my unpleasant feelings and therefore grow. I eat pain for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I grow because of it. I experience my pain. I experience life without drinking and using over it. That's how I grow. I'm not a saint. I still smoke pot. I don't smoke pot all day, every day. I usually smoke pot about an hour or two before I go to bed. Cannabis is medicinal as well. It's also non-addictive and not deadly. So when I say I'm sober from deadly drugs, I mean everything but cannabis, really. Trippy seeds and deeds. Yeah, I grow it too there, Trippy. I got some purple kush. It's been in flower for a while. The trichomes are now just beginning to darken under my jeweler's loop. And California sober James, right? It was soberdelic James, you know. It was just a cool name and everything. But to be honest, my goal in life isn't to be soberdelic James. It's to be sober James. Yes, they're auto flowers. I like auto flowers. No fuss, no muss. But I've quit smoking and vaping nicotine, which comes with its own set of benefits, and we talked about that on the other stream. But Bill W. wanted some whiskey on his deathbed on Christmas. Yeah, it's in its 4th month. I'm really being patient with this one. I got 3 plants. I'm really being patient because there are different schools of thought when it comes to when to chop and harvest. But I'm going by the most popular one, which is check on the trichomes. I want about 50% amber trichomes, 50% cloudy. See, THC doesn't take me to the liquor store. I have talked to people that have said that before too. I had a friend who said, you know what? Weed makes me thirsty, bro. And I'm not talking water. But that's what, here's the thing. As long as I maintain the program of Alcoholics Anonymous and my spiritual recovery as my drug of choice over weed, when I start going to weed instead of going to meetings, you know what I mean? I know me. I know me. The weed isn't a problem. It has been a problem this is what I know. This is what I know. I know that there was a time, and it was on this channel. It was over a year ago, between 2020 and 2023. November of 2023 was my sobriety date. And I stopped smoking weed, and I stopped everything except for nicotine. For 8 months, I didn't smoke. And then I was like, you know what? I'm running a good program. I feel good. And I made a clear decision. I made a clear-headed decision, sober decision, that I want cannabis in my life. Cannabis is It's a nice part. It adds to my life. It doesn't detract. There were times where it did, and I was smoking every minute of every day. Trippy, you can probably attest to the amount of weed you had when you learn how to grow it. I had pounds of different strains. Blue Dream, I think Purple Haze, Super Lemon Haze or Silver Lemon Haze. I had what's the classic purple? Well, anyway. That's a topic for a different, maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow night. But cannabis in recovery from deadly drugs is a topic. There are terms for it. Marijuana maintenance, California sober. Purple Kush is what I got growing right now, what I'm about to harvest. What's up, Kopic? Liquor bone is connected to the cocaine bone, and the cocaine bone is connected to the opiate bone. Yeah. Yeah, I know my limits and my triggers, and my 100% confidence with cannabis is relatively harmless to me, the alcoholic addict. I have abused it before, and I have used it instead of life before, which is essentially what addiction is when we go towards our compulsive, addictive behaviors before we go towards life. But that's not the case with cannabis these days. I'm in recovery. I'm in recovery from a seemingly hopeless state of alcoholism. Oh, you're not smoking weed again? You're not smoking weed, Kopic? Black tar. Wow. So you're doing edibles? 3 months of coughing shite when I stopped smoking around Christmas. Well, good for you, bro. Yeah, I wonder about the lung thing, but like I said, I smoke like half a bowl at night. So I don't know if but you're right. Smoking is no good. All right, I'll be right back. It's got dumb hot in here for some reason. All right. Gabberhead from Ireland. New people in the building. Check out the join button in the chat box. I could use some members on this channel, and you guys could use some perks. Not Percocets, but perks from like emojis and cool stuff. Mind's Eye says, I only smoke to help the edibles to kick in, so to improve the sound of my hack guitarings. Yeah, man. Have you ever noticed that it... oh, you guys are all Irish? Yeah, bro. We were talking about... Bill Wilson asked for a drink of whiskey on his deathbed. Christmas Day of 1970. Bill Wilson's on his deathbed with emphysema. He is 36 years sober from alcohol. My dude was dying, asked for a glass of whiskey, and they denied him. He asked 3 more times over the next couple of weeks, and they denied him. Now that kind of pisses me off. I may not be right in my anger. The Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous tells me that even justified anger is best left to those better equipped to handle it. But that makes me angry. I don't know why. You would think Sober James is against, giving Bill Wilson a drink on his deathbed. But here is my main point. We don't drink so that our life can be lived. Don't make him ask and then not get it too. I mean, he's already done the dirty deed by asking. You might as well give it to him, because like now he just asked and he's not going to get his drink. I wonder sometimes. I was wondering last night after we talked about it. I was wondering if they actually did give it to him and just said they didn't. Because, bro, it's hard to deal with an alcoholic that wants to drink. Even if he was wheelchair bound. And I'm thinking too, the drive of an alcoholic that wants an alcoholic drink is cunning, baffling, and powerful. So I was also wondering if maybe he got it. If he actually got it maybe behind his, if somebody got it for him, like maybe late at night or something, because an alcoholic will stay up past all the people that denied him, and he will get that drink. I'm wondering if Bill W. got that drink. It would be tragic, Carlette Southern Robert says, if Bill Wilson drank on his deathbed. Well, he asked for a drink. Isn't that the same thing? I don't think it's tragic. I don't think it's tragic. The legacy of AA would be, sure, tainted, but it's already tainted by perceived that he asked for it, is what I'm saying. So, like, if it's his deathbed, here's the only tragic part about him drinking, and that would be, well, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Carlette, I mean, so you make a good point. I mean, the significance and the symbolism of the founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, after 36 years of not drinking on his deathbed, that might have affected Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm not sure. It might have been better that he didn't get it. I think he probably did. Knowing myself, and when I want a drink, and wild horses can't stop me, bro. A train can't stop me. A tree didn't stop me. Wrapping my truck around a tree didn't stop me. A coma didn't stop me. Not being able to walk didn't stop me. It's the deed that is reality. I mean, I think it may have been bad for the program of Alcoholics Anonymous following that date, because they would have had a field day with that. The threat of prison didn't stop me. Brad said my toolkit is The Heel Grommet Method, a short story by Outer Limit Smith. His better angels may have prevailed. I don't know, man, but a dying man's wish, I don't really care what it is. I'll probably get your mind out of the gutters. Get your minds out of the gutter. But if you have the option, would you have a drink if it was your last day of life? Now, here we get to the real question. So thank you, Noah, for bringing that up. Here it is. Ask yourself this as a recovering alcoholic. Say it's my deathbed 20 years from now. I will have been sober 21 years, and I'm on my deathbed, terminally ill. I'm in hospice, in incredible amounts of pain and discomfort from emphysema. But here's the thing is that I can relate to Bill asking for a drink. Do you know how he must have went over that in his head over and over again? He was fighting his alcoholism at the most personal level, and he gave up his dignity when he said the words, "Give me a whiskey." But he had to, like, that was some personal 250. It's a lot of acid, bro. At the last stop, right. That was my first. I used to say the same thing. If the world was ending, I'm going to go out strong. Zombie apocalypse, I'll be sober till my dying day, to my dying moment. But now that I know about ego and pride, mortality, you know what I mean? Bill probably just let go of all that ego and let go of all that pride and just said, you know what? I am really uncomfortable with this emphysema. I'm in an incredible amount of pain. Please give me some alcohol. This, if any moment is the one that I can drink, this is the moment. Hold on, my dogs are barking. Michael. A bottle of Chivas Regal. Well, Daniel, you indulge anyway, so you know Daniel's going to be having an open bar on his deathbed. Bro, I hate to tell you, if I'm on my deathbed, bro, it's going to be Dilaudid. It's going to be some drugs. Hey, I did my life. I did my sober life. I tried. I put my best foot forward. Here I am on my deathbed. Hey, whoever wants to drink with sober James, let's get it. Because look, man, I'm not abstaining for alcohol to set a record. I'm not abstaining from alcohol just to show off. I'm not abstaining from alcohol to get 10 years and then to get 20 years. I'm abstaining from alcohol because I cannot drink without jails, institutions, and death. That's why I'm abstaining from alcohol. You put me on my deathbed, as long as I'm not going to hurt anybody in the vicinity, then we're probably gonna get fucked up. And but then again, I'm powerless over alcohol. So I mean, you might want to like secure me to the bed somehow, or I'm gonna be hitting on nurses and doctors and all kinds of shit's gonna be happening when I start getting that booze in my system. But like, look, man, I'm about to die, bro. You know what I mean? Give me a break. Give Bill a break. My dude saved the world. And the other thing is, we now know from history that he asked for it. What would have been the difference in him drinking? Because now all the anti-AAers are like, you know, Bill W. asked for whiskey. AA doesn't work. Fuck you. Dude's on his deathbed, 36 years without a drink. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Pickles don't go back to cucumbers, ladies and gentlemen. Bill W. was an alcoholic till the day he died. I'm an alcoholic in front of you right now. I haven't had a drink in 14, 15 months. But I'm an alcoholic. It is alcoholism, not alcoholism. So he was, AA definitely works. It works if you work it. Another point to be made is that Bill W., at least AI told us, that he wasn't going to meetings close to his dying day. He didn't want the pressure of speaking as AA's co-founder. Yeah, Bill W. I mean, that doesn't... Because I tried telling somebody that once, and then I'm like, wait a second. You can't stop me. If I get it in my head that I'm going to drink, nobody's stopping me. Not the police. Not a mob of angry people carrying torches. Nothing. Nothing is stopping me. I'm going to get that booze, or I'm going to die trying. That's the obsession. That's the drive and the obsession of an alcoholic in the grips of alcoholism. So when I asked somebody, I told people that at first, I'd be like, if I ever want to get drunk, just do what you can to stop. I'm just like, yeah, right. All right, Trippy, sleep well. We're about to wrap this up in 5 minutes. It's nice conversating with you. Miss Ford says maybe Bill told somebody not to give it to him if he asks. I don't think so. I think his people were being a bunch of little pricks. I'm just kidding. I don't know shit. Remind yourselves of this. These are just opinions that we're talking about. What's up, Brian? James has chose the dark side. Ryan, I'm not quite ever sure if you're correct. Bill W. wasn't going to meetings as he was facing his illness and death, Carlette says. Yeah, that is kind of key. Meeting makers make it. And it's not just going to meetings. The program isn't just going to meetings. But maybe, I mean, my dude was probably super exhausted with life. Being an alcoholic is exhausting. Constant nagging negativity in your brain. Drinking and doing drugs wasn't the problem. It was the perceived solution to the problem. The problem is our minds. So, without going to meetings, he was definitely going crazy. And he's facing the void. These are all opinions, so take them with a grain of salt. But we do each know stuff, and sharing is the best way to have a conversation, and we share all this knowledge and experience. Carlet, Southern Robert. Carlet Southern Robert. Meetings are a small part of my daily reprieve and my spiritual maintenance. Meeting makers make meetings. Meeting makers make it too. You guys sound like you know what you're talking about. AA, the program. The closer I am to it, the further I am away from a drink. The further I am from the program, the closer I am to a drink. That isn't a theory. That has been proven to me, by me, and my alcoholism over the course of 2 decades. I know that I need to stay close to AA, the center, service work, helping alcoholics, doing these live streams, reading the daily reflections and stuff like that. I live AA or I live relapse. That's been a fact. You know what I mean, Glentia? My sponsor was an atheist. Bill W. was an atheist until 1934 when he had a spiritual awakening on belladonna, a psychedelic, and never had a drink of alcohol again. He was an atheist. If you read what he wrote, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, there's a lot of God talk in there. This is from an atheist. You're looking at me, an agnostic. My sponsor was an atheist, but we are three people, me, Bill W., and my sponsor, that pray because the alternative is jails, institutions, and death. So we now pray and meditate. Sober on Saturday. Bill W. was a human being, and what he did on his deathbed is really okay. Yeah, he's a human being. Alcoholics that are afraid of AA, the ones that call it a cult and all that display ignorance before investigation, they will be like, Bill W., blah, blah. He cheated on his wife. He used acid. He asked for whiskey on his deathbed. Yeah, he was an alcoholic. Yo, he may have founded Alcoholics Anonymous, but my dude was like the original alcoholic, bro. I mean, you guys know how hard alcoholism can be. Good God. And give the dude a break. He founded a society that is 89 years old, and I just came from a meeting because of this man. 89 years later. The book's on my table. I got the chips and the year coins and shit in my repertoire. I live and breathe Alcoholics Anonymous if I'm lucky enough to be able to remember it or get over the voice of my alcoholism. I live and breathe the program that this man founded. So I'll fight a motherfucker. In real life, if somebody really wants to fight about and talk shit about Bill W. or the program, I know that AA doesn't need me to protect it or defend it. But that's something I care about. And if somebody comes up to me talking that shit, I just might get wicked. I wouldn't change my AA life for anything. Me neither. You know, and I have. Alcoholism has changed it. It will, anything that it can do to get me away from AA. My alcoholism as an entity is terrified of Alcoholics Anonymous. It knows, my alcoholism knows that AA will be it means that it cannot exist. My alcoholism and AA cannot exist in the same space at the same time. So it is terrified of AA meetings. It will try to keep me away from AA meetings to this day. You know, whether it be stay home and watch Netflix or call that girl instead or stay home and nap, do anything. It'll tell me to do anything. But I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you guys are repping the truth. And my stance is, if Bill W. in his dying day, his dying moments, he died shortly thereafter. In 71, he died. I forget when it said he did. But to be honest, I think not drinking would have been a move more, well, who the hell knows? None of us have been that close to death before. None of us have been Bill Wilson before. But theoretically, I think pride and ego would be the only thing that would hold me back from, and maybe spirituality. Spirituality might hold me back from taking that drink on my dying year. If the world's ending or whatever, let's just say theoretically, that there's an asteroid coming in a week and the world's going to end. Is Sober James going to drink and do live streams? Maybe. I stay sober because to drink is to die. If we are all going to die in a week, I might just drink. Because look, man, you know what I mean? I'm not too happy with the state of human beings anyway. I want to get some last words, you know what I mean? I might need a drink to do it. No, I don't know. We'll have this discussion maybe tomorrow night on the live stream. Maybe tomorrow's live stream will be, if the world was ending in a week, would I drink as a recovering alcoholic? And then we can discuss the dynamics and the logistics of all of that. And what does it mean if a recovering alcoholic, because you're never really recovered. Like I said, I'm an alcoholic right now. I haven't drank in 15 months. I'm an alcoholic right now. Bill W. was an alcoholic 36 years after his last drink. Zealots. Well, I don't know. It's complicated. People are humans, humans are people. So who knows what the feelings of his family and friends were when he asked for the drink? A lot of people, number one, to get a bed-bound alcoholic, an alcoholic beverage, is like the epitome of enabling. What's up, Mike? The world hasn't ended for you, buddy. I've thought that before too, and look at me now. What, zealots? Yeah, how's the world ended for you, Mike? I tell you what will prevent the world from ending. Joining the Sober James membership as a Tier 3 member for $9 a month, you get access to the Sober James catalog that'll just blow your socks off. I did a lot of group therapy also, Glentia said, but AA is my design for living. For real. Word is bond. Me too. Bro, it's free healthcare, as my dude says in one meeting I go to. He says, free healthcare. It's medicine. It is no joke. It is no joke. We spent this live stream talking about the man who founded it 89 years ago. And Dr. Bob, too. But to be honest, the Bill W., I don't think that drink would have ruined everything. You know what I mean? I think I actually don't know, because he would have had more than one drink. Obviously, that's what alcoholism is. So he might have gotten wordsy, and who knows what would have happened. That's what I'm afraid of. If I took a drink on my deathbed, I might be a little nervous about the words that'll start coming out of my mouth and shit for the people that are in the room. Mike says, only thing left in my life is these two things, being miserable and dying. Damn, bro. Sorry to hear that. I have felt the same. I know Miss Ford has felt that way. Yeah, Mike. Well, Mike might not be a fan of AA meetings, but that is the answer. That is the answer. AA.org, Mike, or the Meeting Guide app. For your phone, that's how you find a meeting. If you ask me, online Zoom meetings don't really do it. They don't do it. I'll tell you this, I was drinking wine out of a coffee cup on an online AA meeting about a year and 4 months ago, when I was exploring the idea of maybe stopping drinking. I was drinking like more than 24 beers a day. I had switched to Bud Light because it had the least amount of alcohol, and I was trying to wean myself off because I think I'm some sort of doctor or something. But it barely worked. I had to detox anyway. Had a great time in here. Happy that you're still at it. Oh, thank you, Victor. Well, throw me a thumbs up. Share it with somebody you love. Share the stream with somebody you love. Consider joining the membership. Jump down, turn around, and give a dog a bone. I think maybe tomorrow we will talk about if it was your deathbed or if you were participating in the end of the world via zombie apocalypse or asteroid. Would you drink? And I think our answers are united as hell to the motherfucking yeah, bitch. I think we all said that at the same time. No, there's going to be some no's in there. I know at one point I was no because, or maybe I still am. When it comes down to nitty gritty, it all depends. Am I with my family? Because I don't want to hurt them. I'm powerless. I'm powerless over alcohol. And now at the end of the world, I don't know what that means, you know? Sharing, us talking to each other right now, this is therapy. This is treatment of our disease of alcoholism and addiction. Addicts, alcoholics talking to each other. One of the suggestions in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous is that you call another alcoholic every day. And you'll be like, man, I don't be calling somebody every day. I'm not going to call somebody every day. It's like, bitch, didn't you go to the liquor store every day? Well, yeah. That was different. But yeah, but thank you for participating in my recovery tonight by joining the conversation. It helps to hear you guys and to know that we're in this together. This is a we thing, not an I thing, but a we thing. So thanks for hanging with me. Raphael, Dithy, Glentia, hashtag Holly, Mike, hang in there, brother. When you can't do anything else, just hang in there. And maybe put one foot in front of the other. Go to an AA meeting. I mean, you're looking at a guy that never would have said that until it happened. You know, until I mean, AA is, yeah, AA, the program of Alcoholics Anonymous is the most glorious, beautiful thing I have ever witnessed in my entire life. It continues. It continues to amaze me. It just continues. We're talking about a almost a century old society that doesn't run on money, sex, or power. That in and of itself is amazing. In this day and age, there's no money, sex, or power in the program. Bro, that is a pure and beautiful spiritual thing. That is like, to me, that's where I find God. So tomorrow we'll talk about a zombie apocalypse and whether or not Sober James and the chat box are going to tie one on while we're shooting zombies, or anticipating an asteroid, or what's another COVID outbreak. I don't know. But tomorrow we're going to talk about it. And until tomorrow, why don't you guys do something for me? Just keep it clean, keep it real, and keep doing the damn thing. Peace.